You know, this seemed like a good idea at the time, but now I'm looking around and thinking about how I have to put all of this away, and it's kind of stressing me out. But hey everybody! So today I'm going to be going through all of the K-pop albums that I bought in 2019. I'm mainly doing this because I kind of want to like keep track of the albums that I buy throughout the year, but also I thought maybe some of you would be interested in. I came up with this idea from the like K-pop album tag video that goes around at the end of the year. I don't think I really have enough albums, at least that came out in 2019, that actually like came out in 2019. Like I bought a lot of older albums, but I don't think that I have enough like albums that actually came out in 2019 in order to do the K-pop album tag. So yes, I'm just doing all of the albums that I bought in 2019, and I didn't buy that many. I just started collecting K-pop albums. Collecting is kind of a loose term. I don't know, when I think of collecting, I think of like getting every single album that groups have come out with, and there's only, I guess, technically 2 groups now that, I mean, one group only has 1 album out, or 2 albums out, but yeah, there's only one group that I have all of the albums for. That's basically because I've been standing them basically since their debut. I mean, their second mini album is when I got into them, but we'll talk more about that when we get into it. But yeah, so we'll just get started. I guess we can start with an alphabetical order. Yeah, alphabetical seems like the most sense. Seems like it makes the most sense. The first group that I have, and that's in like alphabetical order, is AB6. So they have come out with 2 albums, so I have both of their albums. So this is their first mini album, Be Complete, and I did get a signed copy from M-Wave. So I got the white version, and as you can see, they all signed it. And yes, this such a good debut album. Breathe is so good. That was the title track, in case you don't know. But yeah, so this is my very first signed album. I know in like K-pop it's more common to get signed albums, but yeah, so this was my first signed album, and I was really excited to get it because I really loved this album. But yeah, so Breathe is such a good title track. Breathe and then Shining Stars are my favorite songs on this album. But yeah, so this is the first album. The second album I have is also AB6, so their first full-length album. So this is their first full-length album, Sixth Sense, and then this is what it looks like under the cover. So Blind for Love, which was the title track for this album, is honestly one of my favorite songs of the year. It is so good. AB6 always impresses. They didn't do a signed copy for this album, but I probably would have gotten a signed copy if they had done it. But I try to only get 1 copy for, I think that's one of my like rules. I think rules for this group, and for most groups actually, I only want to get 1 copy, just because like I don't have a ton of space. I need to get another shelf, but yeah, I just have it, and like I have albums just kind of sitting on my desk, and like these books right here, they should go in the bookshelf, but I have no space. I mean, there's space right here, but that's because there were albums there. Yeah, these books would preferably go in the shelves, but I don't have room for them, so I have nowhere to put the albums. So I try to only get 1 copy of an album, and yes, so I might have only gotten this 1 copy, but they have a lot of photo cards, so I don't know. But yes, this was the second album that I have. So that was AB6. So now we will move move on to ATEEZ. So this is the group that I was talking about earlier. When I got into ATEEZ, it was right when Say My Name released, so their second mini album. So there was only one album that I missed that they had, and it was also a really good album, so I also bought that. So yes, so this is their first mini album, Treasure EP1 All to Zero. So this is their first mini album, and this actually came out last year. So like I said, I don't have a ton of, like AB6, those were both 2019 releases, but this was technically a 2018 release because they debuted in October of last year. But Treasure is legit one of my favorite songs from ATEEZ, like, ever. It's so good. I love Treasure so much. Such a good song, such a good album. Stan talent, stan ATEEZ. Staying on the ATEEZ track, we have their second mini album, Treasure EP2 0 to 1. So this was the first ATEEZ album that I ever bought. Like I said, I started getting into ATEEZ when Say My Name released. And yes, this album is so good. Promise, which is one of the songs on this album, is my favorite song from ATEEZ ever. Like, so good. And Holla Holla, Chef's Kiss, so good. And this album, ATEEZ just only releases bops. So then we have EP3. So I have both versions. I liked that they let the fans choose the title track, but I was kind of sad that they did two versions. But yeah, so this is Treasure EP3 1 to All. So this is the Illusion version, and then this is the Wave version. I am Team Wave. Wave is so good. I think my favorite song on this album is Utopia. Yes, this album is really good. Again, only bops. Bops only. And then their most current release is their first full-length album, Treasure EP Fin All to Action. And so I have both versions. So I think this is the A version, and then this is the Z version. Maybe I have them mixed up. I don't know. So this is their first full-length album, like I mentioned. It was a really good album. Wonderland is probably my least favorite title track that they've put out, but it's still really good. And this album has such good songs on it, and it's so good. Like, ATEEZ is one of my favorite groups. I love them so much, and I'm so excited that they're touring next year. And I really tickets go on sale this week, and so I really hope that I can get tickets to the Chicago show. I think my favorite song on this album is either Mist or Dazzling Light. It changes between the two, but it's usually one of the two. I think right now it's probably Mist, but when this first came out, it was Dazzling Light. But yes, so I have both versions for that. And then they also put out the anniversary edition, which is the same CD as, like, the same songs as this one, just like anniversary edition, because this came out on their anniversary, and so it's the same packaging as their first mini. The photo book is really cute. I really liked this, that they did this. And yeah, so that was all for ATEEZ. Now I think we can move on to BTS. Thrilling. So first album we have, and now we're going in chronological order. Yes, so we have Young Forever. This is my favorite BTS album ever. Like, my favorite album that they have ever put out. And like, BTS is my favorite group. Like, they're my alt group. But I am not going to go back and collect their, like, previous discographies from, like, what I have right now. So I have, you'll see. But I'm not, this is the only, like, older CD that I'm going to actually purchase, like, physically. Yes, I just don't have the room, and BTS has a lot of CDs, and so But yes, I needed to buy this one because, like I said, this is my favorite BTS album of all time. Run is my favorite title track that they've ever put out, and this CD is just full of bops. Just bop after bop after bop. We have Young Forever for BTS. The next album that I have for BTS is the Love Yourself Her CD. So this is the L version, and then this is the V version. I wasn't planning on buying 2 copies of this, but I really wanted this like physical because of the hidden track that's on here. So C, when I first bought this album, it like started skipping when I would listen to it in my car, like right around C. I could get through the rest of the album, but then C, which is the main reason that I bought the album, it would start skipping. I thought it was the CD, so then I bought the other one, and turns out it's actually my car CD player because it does that with every single CD I try to play. So yes, but we have 2 versions, Love Yourself Her, and then we have Love Yourself Tear, which is the very first album I ever bought. And I actually might have bought this last year, like around this time, like December-ish, because I think I bought it because it got nominated for, because the like packaging got nominated for a Grammy. And then also this is my favorite album of the Love Yourself series. Like Paradise is one of my favorite BTS songs of all time. Such a good song. Love Maze, such a good song. Tear, So What, also really good. This is just such a good album. When I bought this, I wasn't planning on like buying the rest of them, but yes, here we are. So this is the R version. And then we have Love Yourself Answer, all of the solo songs. Seesaw, my favorite other than Serendipity, full-length version. Yes, just such a good album. This was my first album that I ever heard from BTS. I found them right after they released Idol and changed my life. Now moving on to the most recent BTS release, Map of the Soul Persona. So I have 2 versions again. So this is when I decided that I was going to let myself buy 2 versions because BTS keeps putting out 4 versions, and I feel like they're going to continue that in the future. But like I said, I don't have space for all 4 versions, so I settled with 2 versions for BTS. Persona, this is version 4. Oh, we have version 4, and then we have, this is version 1. So 1 and 4, and then the pinks are just a little different. My favorite song on this album is Home, for sure. Home and Make It Right are my favorites. They flop back and forth. So this was my first like full on comeback with BTS, so Persona. And that's all I have for BTS. So we will move on to the next group. So the next group is ONEUS, and this is their second mini album, Raise Us. So this is such a good album. Such a good album. So Twilight, the title track, is just chef's kiss. So good. I think that's my favorite title track that they've ever put out. And then this album is just really good. Like Bang Bang and Now are my favorite B-sides. So, and the packaging is just so cool. I don't have the CD in here, so it's not as cool, but look at, like, how cool is that CD packaging? And then the CD would go here, and it's supposed to be like the moon, but so cool. So cool. So this is the only ONEUS album that I have. I've thought about maybe buying their first mini album, but I just haven't done it yet. So ONEUS is such a good group. They're all great, very, very talented. And then the next, which is probably my most played CD of 2019, even though it came out last year. Shinee, The Story of Light, Epilogue. I play this CD constantly. I love this CD so much. I can't even put into words how much I love this CD. I do like monthly playlists every month, and I think I Want You, which is one of the songs on this album, has been on that playlist every single month since I started doing that. And like if I am ever feeling like down or just want some cheering up, this is the CD that I will listen to. Shinee has very quickly climbed up my rankings in regards to favorite boy groups, and even though they're not like active right now because most of the members are in the military, I love Shinee so much, and I love this album so much. This is my favorite album that I bought this year, and that's saying something because I like a lot of these albums, but this is the one. Okay, staying on the Shinee hype, even though it's not a group album, we have Taemin's most recent mini album. So this is Want. This came out in February, and I didn't buy this in February. I just recently bought this like last month or something, and like, but I did listen to Want when it came out, and I was obsessed with that song. I listened to it constantly for like a week. Such a good song. Taemin, I don't know why it took me so long to accept the fact that Taemin, one of my favorites, and then it also took me so long after this album came out to start listening to Shinee. I don't know why, because now I'm like, what was I even doing? Because Shinee's now this is one of my favorite albums, and Taemin is one of my top biases now. So like, I don't know. I think I was just in denial for a really long time. I don't know what I was thinking. Taemin, love him. Love him. Love Shinee. If you haven't listened to Taemin's solo stuff, you're missing out because it's so good. And then the last album that I have, and this was actually a gift, so I didn't buy this. So it's Twice's Fancy You album. Like I said, this was a gift. I actually am trying to sell it now, just because like I love Fancy. Fancy is just such a bop. The rest of the album I just don't really vibe with, and it's probably not an album that I would have bought for myself. But since this was a gift, obviously I have it. But yes, I am trying to sell it. So if you're interested, it comes with all of the random stuff. So I think my CD plate was Sana, the lenticular was Chaeyoung, and then I have the full pre-order set, and then the 5 random photo cards that came in the album. I think I had a Nyan and a Momo, but I don't remember the other 3. If you're interested, I have posts of it on my Twitter, on my trade Twitter and my Instagram. So if you're interested in buying this, hit me up on one of those sites. Yeah, but I just don't listen to this album. I love the group. I love all of these members so much, and Fancy is such a good song. But the rest of the, like I said, the rest of the album I just don't really vibe with. So I would love to be able to give this to someone who will appreciate it more than I do. So if you're interested, let me know. But yes. Okay, so that is everything that I bought in 2019 for the most part. So that's 20. Wow, that's an even number. That's surprising. I was surprised. I'm actually surprised that it's that many. If I had to choose like my favorite album that came out in 2019, it'd probably be either be ATEEZ's second mini album or Taemin's Want. It's just so hard to choose because also like AB6, their albums were so good. But yeah, I think it's between these two. If I had to choose my favorite between all of the albums that I bought this year. We all know the story of Light Epilogue. But yeah, so I hope this was entertaining to some of you. I hope somebody else found it fun to watch and interesting to watch as I did. Like I said, I wanted to kind of keep track what I bought this year and to just kind of be able to look back on it and see how my album grows in 2020, which is crazy to think that 2020 is literally 3 weeks away. But yes, so I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! I want you.